So, CatWithBlueHat has just released a new video, 20 things you missed in the Fontaine 4.1 update trailer for Genshin Impact. Now, me personally, I missed quite a bit of it because, you know, there was quite a lot going on near the end. It was very action-packed, but my god was the trail hype. So I'm going to be seeing if I missed any details from this. Of course, the original video is going to be the first link in the description, so make sure to go support the original creator. Let's get it. The special program revealed that Archelino will arrive in Fontaine. Yes, sir. As Child is a harbinger, his arrest creates a diplomatic problem between Snezhnaya and Fontaine. True. I wasn't actually thinking of that. That is definitely a thing I overlooked. To solve this, she'll be discussing his release due to false charges with Neuvillette and Freminet. But on that point, we actually still don't know who charged Child, right? Like, who actually accused him of, you know, being part of the disappearances? Because that was never revealed to us, so I don't know if it was just a thing that Hoyoverse overlooked, or it's being kept a secret because maybe the mastermind behind Child being falsely accused was Archelino, and this is all part of her big plot. The Traveler will likely be sent to the fortress to check up on Child, or break him out. However, under whose request will the Traveler go remains a mystery. I thought we're going under the request of Neuvillette, right? Because he sent us there to investigate what was going on. It will be surprising if Archelino's the one who asked the Traveler for help. I can't see that being the case. It also seems like regular people can't visit the Fortress of Meropide whenever they want. That makes sense. The Traveler has to be falsely accused and become a criminal just to enter this place.
I will arrange false charges against you so that you may secretly investigate inside the fortress.
Okay, I see the point he's bringing up now, like, who might have requested us to go investigate the fortress. I can see it being Archelino, or I can see it being, like, Lenny. It's gonna be one of those two if that is the case. What if these false charges are about the Traveler attempting to kill Freminet? I don't think...
Who are you? What are you trying to do? Please, don't kill me! I'm begging you!
See, I don't think that's the case, because, you know, Freminet saying, who are you? Yeah, the next point is here. Although in that case, Freminet won't be questioning, who are you? And I think that's a bit too of a severe charge, to be honest. Like, I don't think it's going to be a very serious charge, just enough to get us actually into the prison. Because attempting to kill an archon, that's going to be a big crime, alright? Perhaps someone is trying to get her to reveal the Hydronosis whereabouts. True, which, again, I think this is just, like, Archelino's, like, big plot, and I don't know if I'm actually pronouncing her name right. But I also did theorize that Archelino is going to use the Gnosis to kill Freminet, and that's the only way to prevent the prophecy. Could be the case. Or maybe this voice line is from her memory or a dream from her past. That's a very real possibility.
Including the ones that had infiltrated the guards, suddenly vanished.
Yeah, Fatui agents. This could be Lenny speaking and the informants might refer to Fatui agents. Yeah, I think it is. Maybe Wriothesley has a way of not letting any information out of this place. Which, if that is the case, the man is a badass. So pretty much Wriothesley just has the whole prison on lockdown then, which, honestly, that's pretty sick. Which also might explain why normal people can't get in, because there's like something bad going on. That might also mean he's essentially trapped himself along with the prisoners in here. I mean, I gotta respect it.
The Fortress of Meropide may seem like a prison, but it should in fact be regarded as a gathering place for exiles.
The fortress also has its own laws and rules and isn't under the jurisdiction of the Fontaine's legal system. Which is a bit weird because it was actually the laws of Fontaine that actually put the people here in the first place. Which means it is an autonomous place and doesn't follow the same laws that the rest of Fontaine does. Makes sense. Why else would Neuvillette go as far as to create false charges against the Traveler? So, just Neuvillette doesn't even know what's going on in there? That's how completely shut off it is? I mean, even it, like, okay, if the Chief Justice doesn't know what's going on, what's the whole point? You know what I mean? Like, they could be creating a whole rebellion down there and you wouldn't even know. Which might actually be the case and the plot point behind this. The entire fortress also exists underwater, which makes it even more secure, as there is only a handful of entrances and exits in the facility, so prisoners can't escape. Just die from water pressure as well? Just explode? Paimon should be standing on the ground here, otherwise the height measure at the back becomes useless. I mean, fair point to be honest. Maybe this is the prison cell? Seems cozy, doesn't it? And also Paimon apparently doesn't float when she's sleeping. I mean, we sorta knew this already, right? Because we know when Paimon and the Traveler got knocked out by Jatare, Paimon was just chilling there on the floor. This isn't unusual. These look like the new NPC outfits, especially for the fortress guards. Got some new drip? You should also know that the guards that work here don't last very long. What, they just get bodied? The numerous criminal gangs of this place are known to be very notorious. Again, what are you meant to do here? Because the laws seem quite twisted and, you know, they're very different. And since no one else from the outside actually know what's going on inside, it could just be a whole place where prisoners just run free. And the guards can't do anything. They're like, oh, yep, alright, you do you, because if we intervene, you're gonna beat the shit out of us.
Truth is, this place has a lot of hidden rules.
There you go. This most likely refers to the unspoken rules followed by the gangs inside the prison. Ever since his arrival, Wriothesley's new management has made it easier for the guards to do their job. So this man has like single-handedly just made the place better. Like the man probably came in, the whole place was a hellhole, prisoners and gangs just doing what they want. You gotta put some respect on my man's name. But I actually do want to learn more about his past then, if he was able to just do all of this. His new reforms are so good that some prisoners end up not wanting to leave even after serving their sentences.
The Fortress of Meropide may seem like a prison, but it should in fact be regarded as a gathering place for exiles.
According to the special program, the travelers will receive help from old friends as they enter the fortress. Did they say that? I completely missed that. Old friends though. Who could that be? Since everyone we met in Fontaine is new, maybe we'll meet someone from outside from Fontaine. Alright, let's put in guesses. If it's someone that's helping us like infiltrate and gather information, Wanderer might be a good shout. But if it's someone that's going to help us get rid of the false charges, then Yanfei is probably going to be the best option for that. But those are the only two I can really think of, because no one knows who the Wanderer is. And that man can fly about, so yeah, he's fine. Yanfei perhaps, or maybe someone from Sumeru will be that old friend. I can't really consider that like people from Sumeru old though, since we just like left there. This fortress is also where Sigwine works. Definitely pronouncing her name wrong, but oh yeah, she's a Mesolim, right? She most likely is the doctor for the fortress's infirmary, which might mean she also treats the troublesome people that Wriothesley disciplines. Oh, 100%. Just the occasional 50 bodies rolling in, just beaten and battered by him. Like, all of them are just gonna have frostbite as well, because man's cryo, so you're being punched by an ice fist. It ain't gonna end well. I also forgot she was gonna be here, actually. Since they manufactured these mecha here, are they used everywhere in Fontaine? Or are these mechas solely created just to fight against the prisoners inside the fortress? I feel like it's going to be all of Fontaine, which is going to be very weird that you're having your weapons or guards made here where the prisoners are. Because if it is the case that gangs hold like a lot of standing here or they have like a lot of power, that would explain why some mechas don't have any numbers on them because, you know, the gangs remove them. And then people with a lot of money can buy them and send them off to create chaos, like what we saw in Act 2 of the Archon quest. This is the first time we've seen an NPC wielding a firearm, and that it's inside the fortress. But it's hard to tell if he's a prisoner or one of the guards. Donnie just looks like a reporter. Regardless, in the next scene we can see Wriothesley defending this person from a mecha. Yeah man, he just looks like a reporter, like man like snuck in, just doing some, you know, getting the good scoop. I can't see why a prisoner would have a gun, you know what I mean? So it's either he's a reporter that snuck in or he's a guard. But he also doesn't have the guard uniform, so who knows? Wriothesley's law will also be very interesting to know. That it will. A person who fights with his fists whilst also being smart to operate the fortress. So he must have had that experience, right? Just what kind of past has he lived through before coming here? He's definitely had experience with, like, maybe gangs or something related to that. If that even people that have, like, served their sentences still want to stay as, like, a form of respect to him. Or they want to, like, work under him. So he probably has a lot of experience with, like, shady areas or stuff related to that. But he's turned over a new leaf. For now, we only know that he's an ex-underground boxer. Did we know that? But did boxing alone cause him to get all the scars that we see on his body? Nah, man, those are probably caused from getting into scraps with some shady-ass people. I mean, we saw it in the trailer, the man's fighting mechs. It wouldn't surprise me if some of them have caused him scars. The special program also revealed that Neuvillette avoids forming personal relationships. Does he? He does this to remain impartial in his judgments and from being called into question. Is that the case though? Because we saw in Act 1 when we were first introduced to him that we asked him if he was Lenny's friend and he was like, if Lenny wants to be friends, I would be happy to reciprocate.
A friend, you say? Well, if Mr. Linney would like to be my friend, I would be more than happy to reciprocate.
So I don't think he's fully against the idea, but, you know, he probably avoids the common relationships with, like, humans. So in his free time, he indulges himself in his hobby of water tasting. Which, again, is very weird. I do say this water is indeed very refined. Such amazing texture. Yeah, this is important. It seems like Freminet will also finally be relevant in the main story. Which I think it was quite important for him to be relevant in, like, Act 1 and 2, since he was on the next banner, so not a lot of people cared about him. Which kind of sucks, because I think there's a lot of hidden lore for Freminet that hasn't been revealed, which we're going to be seeing now. At least that's good, because he's definitely going to be playing a big part in the story. The Overture teaser also teased his role in the story before. Yep. Perhaps he's diving near the Fortress of Meropide in one of his missions. Well, it's probably like a Fatui mission, right? Because maybe Archelino was like, yo, our informants and all that in the prison have disappeared. Go dive around it.
Wriothesley, where did you take my siblings?
Also that. Could it be possible that Lynette and Freminet are also in Meropide? That might be the case, but how did Lynette get captured then? Because if we're going with, like, Freminet got captured because, you know, he was caught snooping around, what would be the reason why Lynette got caught? Unless she was sent to, you know, do, like, a stealth mission there also. I mean, with her abilities, with, like, kind of, like, disappearing. In that case, the Traveler might also investigate their whereabouts along with Child's. Oh, did Child also disappear then? This looks like the last functional part of the Fontaine Research Institute. But what is making the Institute's runes float in the air? That's definitely the unknown god, right? In the past, the Institute experimented on anti-gravity research to stop the prophecy. Because my theory on this part is that the unknown god probably didn't like the experiments they were doing. So she did the whole, like, cube thing, and it caused the experiment to, like, blow up. And that's what we're seeing now. They had plans to lift the entire region of Fontaine into the sky away from the flood. Which Celestia wouldn't like that, and maybe the reason why the chamber back in Leeway is able to get away with it is because then they're not underneath Celestia. But because Fontaine is, like, pretty much directly under Celestia, the whole, like, going into the sky might be a bit of a grey area for Celestia, because they're like, yo, they might figure out the skies are fake. From the existing lore, we also know that the reason the Institute was destroyed was due to Akalim? I don't know what that is. A researcher named Edward Eastonhouse was conducting experiments with it, which blew up in the Institute. Okay, maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe that's the reason it's floating, is due to Akaim's influence. But below the Institute, there's also a lake which has undergone changes due to Alkaheim as well. Yeah, because I was wondering what this was, because this looked quite cool. But I just still can't figure out the reason why they made it like a cube shape, you know? Like, maybe I am just reading too much into it, but anytime I see, like, the cube shape, I always think that the unknown god has like something to do with it. The floating cubes are called Oligravity's condensed water bodies. Sick name. The new world boss is also located in this area and it has the ability to counteract gravity. Oh yeah, because it showed us like, you know, actually being able to jump really high. With Teyvat hinted to be upside down, it's most likely that this machine just restores the primordial gravity of Teyvat. You know what? That's an interesting theory.
They have no way to dispose of the leftover remains. They have ways to transform them into other forms and keep them in the fortress forever.
Yeah, that's a mysterious line. Based on this scene, it looks like the Fortress of Meropide has access to the primordial waters. This voice line also seems to suggest that it has been here for a long time. If my theory that like the primordial sea has been infected by the abyss, that also might mean that the fortress is like maybe near like an abyssal area. Maybe the gangs inside the fortress have had access to it. But Wriothesley's running away from it. Maybe he didn't know of its existence. He is new here after all. That must be terrifying though. Getting information like, yo, by the way, dude, this water will dissolve you. If you're from Fontaine, run. That's going to be an intense cutscene though. I can already tell once we get there in the story. There's just like a huge dam of primordial water that's released and like everyone's in danger. And if what we saw in the trailer with like Neuvillette holding something back, it might also be the case that he's holding back all the primordial water. So like he shows up as well there. It looks like Neuvillette will be entering the fortress at one point. There we go. Maybe this is where the final scene takes place as he tries to stop the primordial waters. Exactly what I said.
You will see much in the human world, from the delightful to the depressing.
Is this the previous archon as well? This makes it sound like Neuvillette is not from the human world. Or perhaps assume that he's a dragon, he lived in an isolated life like a pep in his past. Probably. There was also a voice line that, like, he was born from calamity, or they might have been talking about the mesolemes.
Rumors saying that you were born from calamity. You inherently bring danger to those around you.
So who knows? It could also be that he's a reincarnation of the previous Hydro dragon, that's why he doesn't know much. That's also very true. Or maybe he's originally from the Abyss. So let's say the Hydro Dragon died in the Camria attack, or maybe something related to that, and then the new Hydro Dragon was reincarnated, you know, so he was born from that calamity, which explains the voice line we heard earlier. So technically, I guess he's from the Abyss, if you want to go down that route.
And one day, when you have dwelt among humanity long enough, you will be placed to bring judgment over all as a spokesperson for Fontaine's past.
That is a death flag though, which I don't like. This voice doesn't match the previous Hydro Archon's Egerina, and its tone is different from Freminet. So is it a character that we just haven't been introduced to yet then? Because my guess was it was the previous Hydro Archon, but if the voice doesn't match... I mean, I've never heard the previous Hydro Archon talk, so I wouldn't know. I don't know if we've actually heard her before. It also seemed like this was spoken to Neuvillette in his past. And in the same past, Freminet had the ability to create the oratrice. So it's likely that this is Fremiet's voice, but from the one who was wise and understanding, nothing like the current Freminet. Wait, so the past Freminet, not the previous Hydro Archon? Is there something I'm missing here that, like, it was in the world quest? This bit is a bit confusing to me. If someone would kindly explain, like, that in more detail. The entire reason why Neuvillette is the Chief Justice perhaps has something to do with the agreement he had with the past Freminet.
Is this what justice means to you? Answer me, Neuvillette!
It's such a hard line, by the way. If you've watched this far, I have a redemption code for you. Ooh! Well, there you go. There's a redemption code for everyone. But the whole past thing, that's kind of weird. So before Freminet was the Hydro Archon, maybe? And becoming the Archon made her, like, develop a new personality? That's the way how I'm deciphering that. But I feel like I'm missing a lot of context on the whole past thing. Thanks for watching. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. I did enjoy the video indeed, and I will be liking it. And you should too, so make sure to go to the original creator and show your support to them if you haven't already. They make videos like this on all the trailers, and they can be very helpful. Again, it will be the first link in the description.